Hey, how your mama now? This your boy, Sir, of the 2020 podcast. Thank you for listening. And I realized, well, actually, that myself and my co-host had not introduced ourselves. Now, the plan originally was to submit our introductions formally from the first podcast, but due to technical difficulties, my computer crapping out on me, those files were lost, unfortunately. Don't you worry, though, the episodes are still coming. So, I decided what better way to introduce myself than to introduce myself. Yeah, sounds like a plan, doesn't it? But a little bit about me, just in case you were wondering and you're listening. My real name is Jeremy Evans. I'm a native here in Mobile. A lot of my listeners probably already know who I am. A little bit of history on me. I grew up in Tolmanville, the neighborhood in Mobile. And then when my grandmother passed away, I relocated with my family to Theodore, Bellefontaine, to be specific. Some of y'all might be like, what's the difference? But yeah, there's a world of difference. But anyway, I've always been an odd kid. You know, I was the nerd out the group, and that was cool with me. You know, I always thought that myself being an outsider kind of worked to my advantage, because I wasn't much of a talker, per se. I was really kind of to myself, to be a little real with you. I know that might be unbelievable, you know, but I was more of an introvert growing up. Reason being, just like a lot of other kids, a lot of us got picked on. You know, I had glasses, I was smart, I liked comic books, I liked to read, you know, stuff a lot of people just wasn't popular back then or isn't now. And that was my thing. Like, listen, you talking to a dude that used to read the dictionary for fun. Like, back when I used to attend Fonville Elementary, that goes to show you I'm from the hood. Back when I used to attend Fonville, they had this program every morning called Stop Moving and Read Today, Smart Time. It was right after the bell sounded to bring you in for school, and for 30 minutes you had to read. Don't matter what you read, but you had to read. And so a lot of the books that teachers had were old, or I had already read. So I used to always read one of two types of books. I would either A, read a horror book on like old monster movies like The Wolfman, Dracula, The Creature from Black Lagoon, like the classic stuff. Or I would read stuff about animals, educational stuff. Like, I loved learning about animals, especially snakes. Even though I'm deathly afraid of them, I loved learning facts about them. And you know, I excelled as a kid. You know, that's just what I did, because I thoroughly enjoyed learning planets, geography, English, math not so much, but everything else I just enjoyed it. It was a blast to me. And so, I love dinosaurs too. Dinosaurs were the shit. But as I progressed, I grew out of certain things, grew into other things. Of course, I transitioned to the like Goosebumps books and video games and stuff like that. And that really kind of stuck with me, you know. So going into middle school, this is around the time that my grandmother passed. And this struck a really heavy blow to my family, because she was like one of the OGs, you know, of our community and family, you know. My neighborhood was really close-knit, like really. And it goes back to those old styles of raising a community and raising a child, where everyone on the street knew who I was. Everyone. You couldn't do nothing sneaky. Like, everybody knew everything. And so if you was acting out of line, somebody else, parents or anything, could check you, you know, because parents at our time were always working and stuff. So we'll be walking home from school or playing or whatever, somebody be like, hey, you doing something you ain't got no business, chill out, or I'll whoop you, or I'll call your mama and she'll whoop you later. Like, that's just how it worked, you know. And it worked, you know. Kept me out of trouble for the most part. But when we relocated, things were a little bit turbulent, because I was transitioning from an area I born and raised into a completely new area with new people, you know, new demographics, a lot more white people where they were while we're moving. So that was brand new to me. Like, going from Tolmanville to Theodore was like a drastic change for me. night and day. You go from all black people to mostly white people with sprinkles of black people. It boggled my mind. And plus, we were in the country, so I was more used to an urban setting. So I kind of reclused a little bit. Like, even a lot of people who maybe listen to this podcast may have met me my middle school 7th grade year. I did not really talk much. I felt socially awkward because I didn't attend to this was middle school, so people established who they, knew were friends in elementary. All my elementary school friends, the few that I had, I didn't have contact with. So I had to start over, and it was a little bit rough. This is where I had my little rebellious, a little bit streak. Was a little, I won't say I was bad, but I wasn't the best. But luckily, one of the teachers at when I first got there, Theodore Middle, but it got changed to Hankins Middle, was my aunt, and she kept a good eye on me. It was awkward because I actually had her as a teacher, Miss Peaton. She used to teach home ec, and it was so weird. Listen, I don't care what you say. You haven't experienced weird until you have an aunt for a teacher. Like, because she used to dock me for calling her Aunt Carolyn. I would literally lose points. Dead serious. I would literally lose points. And she was harder on me. And it was perfectly cool. I mean, I didn't get it then, but I get it now. She expected more out of me because she knew who I was and knew what I was capable of. So where I was just trying to fit in, she wasn't settling for that. So that was really cool. I salute her. Miss Peaton unfortunately passed away the year before last. It was tough, because that was really one of my favorite aunts of all time. She really encouraged me to think outside the box. And Aunt Carolyn, I know you can hear me. I thank you for that. Like, I love you to death, and I'll see you one day. But moving on. After my troublesome middle school years, I moved to high school, which was Theodore High. And that's when things started to really sink in that I think I'm stretch my legs. And what I mean by that, I started making plans to go to college somewhere else. Because, and I'm not trying to sound racist, but in the area that I was in, it was a lot of racism. I'm just going to be completely honest. I'm going to call a spade a spade. And if I'm offending anybody, I don't care. But it's just truth. And you don't see a lot of it until you grow up and look back on things. So, like, whereas I had a few white friends in middle school, all of a sudden when we got to high school with the older people, I didn't have those friends anymore. They didn't talk to me as much. And it'd be so funny, like, friends of mine and I would talk about it, like how some white people, and I'd say it this way, but some white people would talk to you in one class, but in another class they would act totally brand new because their other friends are there and wouldn't really talk to you as much. And this wasn't the case with all. This was just a good proportion of them that were like this, and I never understood that, but I understood. That's how high school was. High school was preparing you inadvertently for how the actual world is. And to anybody young that's listening to that, hate to break you into the spoiler of middle school and high school, but that's just what it is. You're preparing yourself for how life is going to be down the line. So I decided that I was no longer going to stay in that area when I got a chance to go to college. So I started doing all I could to get my grades right, studying ACT and stuff, the exams to make sure I did well. And lo and behold, I ended up graduating with a pretty good GPA. I'm not going to disclose it right now because it doesn't matter. And my ACT score was pretty good. So I managed to get accepted into HBCU, or HBCU, however it's been said nowadays, Alabama A&M University. And you might look at it for what it is. I went from a black situation to a white situation to a black situation. And that was intentional. That was 100% what I wanted. I went up there to the campus to visit. I loved it because it was away from where I was. Perfect. that was it. Was it away from where I was? They're black people. Let's go. So I went to A&M. It was an experience because you have to adapt back to being around, different types of black people. I didn't know that. That there's so many different cliques and, how do I say, subcultures of black people. You had your up north group, you had your Midwest group, you had your southern group, you had your West Coast group. Like, it was and my clique, thank God, my circle was a mesh of everything. We had people from up north, from Indy, from Chicago, a kid from Cali, partners from in Alabama, Montgomery, Birmingham. Like, and it's crazy. You think that because you're from the South that you would gravitate towards the people that like you, but I gravitated to people of all walks of life, people that we had totally different experiences. And that's crazy to me, because you think that you would attract the same people, but it's your opposites that attract. And my best friend, he's from Indiana, and we've lived totally different lives. We are totally different in terms of aspects, but as far as morals and goals, we're the same. And we also have a dark sense of humor. So that's another story. But my best friend and I, we met up, and, as time will tell, people will come and go. All right? I've had this best friend for now over 12 years. Going on 13 years, same best friend. And I thank God for that, because there's been times where things in your life happen and God moves people in your life for a reason, and they move people out for a reason. But this friend of mine stayed low key, and I apologize for my phone. Thought I put it on silent, but that wasn't the case. But anyway, apparently they're still texting me. Let's put that on silent. But the reason why I said that is because people around you need to contribute to you, just like you need to contribute to them. You don't need to be stagnant together at all. It's good to have your group to fall back on when things get rough, but if they're not dusting you off and putting you back on the path to success, they're not for you. And luckily enough, you be around people enough, you'll see who they are. And I'm not just talking about 3, 4, 6 months roommates or whatever. No, I'm talking about years. Like, really examine your group. What are they doing? Do they inspire you to do better? Do they inspire you to be the best you? You really got to ask that question, and that's some self-evaluating steps that you have to do. Like, who am I around? What type of mentality is my circle cultivating for me? Is it toxic? Is it productive? There's plenty of times where I ain't want to go to class, but my boys be like, hey, they knock on my door. What you doing here? Ain't it time for you to go to class? And people got to hold you to a certain standard. My friends let me know they respected me, and so I do the same for them. And through that course of college life, and I'll admit I did not finish, but I will. I saw a lot of things change. A lot of life events for me and my friends happened, and I'm still here with them. So I'd like to take a moment actually and give a shout out to the people that really held me down, like in critical moments. Wyatt, Dennis, Sean Webb, Sejan Judkins, Vic, Quincy, Chopper City, and he's called Chopper City for a reason. And if I forgot anyone, please forgive me, but I'm just specifically thinking about my circle in college. Listen, these are people that really affected my life in a way that made me positive, like made me think the way I think, act the way I act. And before I do anything outside of my character, I can always see a picture of at least one of them. And the crazy thing is, the people I named which is totally unrelated, and this isn't a segue of any kind. The people I named just so happen to be in a fraternity with. Now, this is not a shameless plug for my fraternity. You know, I believe in Greek unity. It is what it is. But my fraternity, my LBs, my DP and ADPs, I genuinely love them like my brothers, and I really mean that. If you're curious about what I joined, I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Gamma Epsilon chapter. I crossed in 2007. I am the deuce of the 27 survivors of the Blue Dynasty, aka we're bringing the Go-Getters back. Yeah, all of that. But I each one of them gentlemen that I named, I literally went through a period of hell with. And don't get me wrong, my family is one thing to hold me down, but these guys were with me in the trenches. They really saw me through something. And some interesting points is, like, I saw them go through the thing, loss of family members, relationships and their distress, academic stress, financial issues. Like, we saw each other through those things and pushed forward. And that is amazing. And I don't know why I lingered on that topic. I guess these guys know I love them, you know, but I've never put it out there. Like, I've talked to them one-on-one, dap them up, hug them, love you, bro, and that's good. But sometimes we as men need to take a step back and congratulate men on their success and let them know that we're proud of them. So to my men, to my boys, to my brothers, to these guys who helped build me up, to push me to do what I'm doing right now, to follow my dream, to better myself, I want to say I salute each and every one of y'all. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are the best. I love you guys to death. And yeah, it's you really have to be thankful for those who are around you. And of course, there'll always be my family, my mom and my brother. I could talk on a whole nother 45 minutes on that, but I'm not today because my brother's birthday is coming up. Yeah, you know, I knew that, did you? And my mom has her birthday and Mother's Day, and I gotta say something for them. I can't spoil it on the intro. What do I look like? But this was just a brief, well, supposed to be brief, a brief intro into me. To everybody listening to the 2020 podcast, I humbly thank you on behalf of myself and my co-host, Kay Wilk, and to talk about her. I've known Kay Wilk probably for longer than I knew who I was. She actually, and Kay Wilk, please forgive me for saying it this way, she's actually older than me. She went to school with my brother, who, I'm sorry to put you out this like this, Kay Wilk, please forgive me. My brother is right at 10 years older than me. So she's seen me grow, and I've seen her grow in some respects to the point where I recognized that when I wanted to do this project, I saw what she was doing. I contacted her and was like, hey, let's do this together. I really enjoy your words, your thoughts, and let's make a common goal together. And that's how this was born. And Kay Wilk, can't say enough about this lady. This lady has a heart as wide as the ocean. She is sweet as all get out. She thinks she's mean. I ain't seen it. I've seen her snap on some folks, but it was warranted. But she is just a genuine care. I can't. It's so hard to balance the line between being sweet and business minded, and she does it flawlessly. I don't know how, but she can convey a message and inspire you to go to that next level like none before. So here's to my co-host. You are one of the reasons I push so hard on this podcast, because not only am I doing this for me, I'm doing this for you too, because I want this to be a platform that elevates us both. So, but this is coming around the 20-minute mark. That was really my goal. I'm not lying. My goal was about 15 minutes, but I got to talking. That's what we do. This is a show where we listen to us talk, and you enjoy it because you're still here right now. You're here right now. Look at you. You're listening, ain't you? I know you're listening. But I'm gonna stop being silly. But thank you again for listening and supporting the show. More to come. Thank you. And if you're an artist who would like to feature your music on the show, hey, let me know. If you got an instrumental you want us to check out, you want to play in the background, let me know. We will collaborate on something. So once again, this is Kay Wilk. Oh, Lord. Okay, well, once again, this is J.E., a.k.a. Sir, a.k.a. I don't even know why I said that. But anyway, thank y'all for listening. Y'all have a great day.